Hey, what's up, everyone? We just had an issue with the sound, so going live again right now. Just inviting the team back on with a new link here. So if you put in a question, sorry about that, put in a question again. Hey, Eve, is this sounding better now? Is my voice regular, or does it still sound like a bot? Just sending out the invitation to get the team back on and seeing how it sounds. How's it sound, guys? We're already live.
Yep, Skynet has vacated the building.
All right. We got StreamYard working again. We are live and direct, and everybody's logging in as we come on here and get the questions in over there. If you put a question earlier, apologize, put it in again. We kind of lost all those, but that being said, we got everyone logging back in, and we're good to go. All right, I think we're good here.
Brady Bunch is back.
There we go.
All right, back at it. Steven, you want to take it from there?
And Brent is talking to Bruno right now on the phone, actually, Fouts. Just a quick heads up.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that being said, party time, Drew says. Eve, what's up, PMC fam? And Mr. Noggle, I know you have limited time this afternoon, so you want to kick us off? What's going on, man?
Oh, just, another day of webinars today and getting a little into the whole wealth webinar this afternoon. I get all these ideas early in the morning after I go for a run and I'm in the shower and I'm like, oh my God, this would be a great wealth webinar. And then I'm like frantic because I know if I don't get it out of my mind right there, I'm going to lose it. And hopefully we get some questions about today's wealth webinar. I know we had one person on there who's an agent who sells IULs who was saying that's not the case. She has an illustration that's going to finally take the purse of the $10,000 for the IUL challenge that Chris Kirkpatrick put out. We'll see. People are a lot of talk, but when it comes down to delivering the results, we'll see if she can do it.
That's right. And we'll go around the corner real fast, introduce everybody. If you're new here, we do this Ask Me Anything every Wednesday, 4:30 Eastern, where we can talk about the infinite banking concept, becoming your own banker, private money club, real estate investing, really anything financially related, as well as a little bit of possibly hunting and sports too. You never know when you get mixed into this conversation. And of course, America. So Carson, what's up, man? Pass it down to you.
Yeah, America football season starting this upcoming week. I'm pumped about. Right. Summer's ending here, but the weather's still great here in Southern California. Been surfing all week and just living a good life right now. So I'm pumped to be here, guys.
Nice, man. So how is that to get like a break from the summer heat? Because here in South Florida, it is hot. And I will tell you this. I got a question for the group. Those of you or anybody that's listening, those of you that do cold plunges, how in the HE double hockey sticks do you do that? Because let me tell you, I went for a run this morning too, Chris. It was hot out. I was sweating. It was dead. It's hot here still, right? And I got back and instead of jumping in the shower, I just jump in the pool. I just jump in, swim back and forth and get out. It cools me down for a second. And I jumped in. I was freezing. I was like, it's so cold. I looked at the temperature. The water's 87 degrees. So
you are such a
I immediately called my guy. I'm like, when's my heater coming in? But anyway, so 87. So you guys do the cold plunge at what temperature? Like 82? Or what?
39, brother.
39.
13 minutes so far.
Insanity.
That's brutal.
And I think that all that cold plunging, I'll take it from there. I think that all that cold plunging actually saved me this past weekend, walking up Whistler 8 times over 36 hours because it came down in buckets and it got brutally cold.
Really?
So, I earned my red hat. Did it all for a red hat. My family's been making fun of me all week. So did it all for a red hat. It was pretty awesome.
You got to wear it. Where is it?
Where's the red hat then?
Yeah, where's it?
I'll go get it.
I feel like you should have that on. I mean, I got a red hat too, but mine might be a little different than yours.
All right. Well, Jason's out searching for his red hat. I don't do the cold plunge, but I've been to my chiropractor. He's got a cryo tank. Anyone ever been in a cryo tank?
Oh yeah.
Boy, it's cold. Oh yeah. It's about 3 minutes of pain and agony, but once you get over that initial bump, it's not too bad. Nice red hat there. Anyway, I'm just kind of curious of all the folks out there and Ask Me Anything land. Did anyone join us on our 2-day advanced trading or our 3-day virtual we just finished? Just kind of curious.
Yeah, a lot of the recent calls they were on those, so that was good. A lot of good feedback.
Yeah, we had a good time there. So hopefully you were all able to make it. If not, there's some recordings as well. And James, I know you were out there because we had some conversation. But with all that, I know that Gabe is just waiting to introduce himself. So I'm going to pass it on down to Gabe. Oh, you're on mute, I think.
Sorry, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm glad I ended up being able to make the call. I had to take some wallpaper down to DC. My family has a painting and drywall business, or painting and wall covering business, and they just put me in charge of the wall coverings. And some of these are extremely expensive. Some projects do $100,000 in wall coverings, and we're doing a hotel where they're converting a old office building in DC to a hotel, and there's a lot of wall coverings. So I sped back and beat the traffic because I love to make it onto the calls. I like to use my policies with businesses. I've tried using with Airbnb, with real estate investments, but I ended up kind of getting rid of all that and open up a jiu-jitsu school. So instead of trying to collect doors, now I'm trying to collect customers and members and students that hopefully be with me for many years. And I'll pass it over to Linus.
Hey, Linus Nolt here from Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Glad to be working indoors today. It's another cooker out there. I think it's a little north of 90 degrees. And so, yep, here, happy to help answer any questions and help out where I can. Do we have any?
Let's get some questions in there.
There's something weird going on over in the chat. Like we got some people coming in, but I don't know, maybe not.
Well, Chris, what was your wealth webinar topic about today?
Yeah.
Maybe share that with the group.
Just showing charts at a 5th grade level, how to, buy low, sell high, more specifically like where high is. So people understand like, this is where you exit so they can school their financial advisors instead of just being told, oh, well, it's not the time to sell or, blah, blah, blah. So we taught them that. We just went through, had them pick stocks, and I went through and just charted them out, drew a bunch of drawings, 5th grade level style, like circles, squares, triangles, and ruler-like lines. That's all we did. And then we went into a description of term, universal life, VUL, IUL, and whole life, and where the differences are. And that took up the rest of it.
Nice. Well, if you watch the wealth webinar, you can ask questions about that here as well.
Well, I'll talk about something that's come up here recently on some of the policies or client calls we got coming in. Is they have existing policies, and they're not through us, by the way. And about happened 3 times in the last week where someone has a policy, it's with somebody else, and they're saying, "Hey, Brian, I have an infinite banking policy with XYZ, and I want to set up another one that's more obviously structured." So just kind of give you a heads up. What we typically do in that scenario, what I do at least, is I want to make sure that the existing policy is being optimized and utilized to the maximum efficiency first. So it's like before you go and buy another car, go buy something else. Make sure the one you have is optimized first. Make sure you understand how it works. Even if it's not through us, we'll still take a look at it and make sure that, hey, this is how it's structured. This is how it's built so that you understand how it works. Because if we go and create a second policy and you still don't know how to drive the car, which is infinite banking, then the second one's not going to solve anything. So if you have existing policies and you have questions about them, feel free to call us, schedule a call with one of our mentors, and just make sure you understand what you already have first. So that's been something I've been focusing on some of the last calls.
I love that, Brian. I mean, that came up last night in the call where someone had 2 policies designed by somebody else. They didn't really understand how to use them. They have cash value in them. They're designed correctly. They're 60/40s, right? They're good for infinite banking. And they're looking to build an additional one for themselves and their daughter to take out loans to do, upgrades in a fix and flip they're doing. And I was like, well, you can just pull policy money out of those 2. There's no reason to build one to pull out what you're trying to do. So that's where, like what Brian said, we're really here to help you solve the problems and really help you understand what you have. And that's what's different about what we do is we're giving you the teammates, we're giving you the support, we're helping you take out loans, pay back loans, teaching you how to bank, because it's really about being a banker and not becoming the bank.
Yeah.
It's the verb, it's the action. So awesome stuff.
And then another one I'll share because it's something for people to, if you're talking to other people, be very aware of this. So this is a client, and I'll explain it to our team here, and you guys can see if you can understand what happened. So someone it's an IUL. Okay. They said, oh, I've got an IUL. I'm like, okay, what's the premium? Oh, 12,000 premium. Okay. Okay. How much you put in so far? A couple thousand. What's the cash value right now? Well, there is none. Like, okay, so what's the premium? Once again, they said 12,000. I said, okay, what's the max you can put in? Oh, 30,000. So if you hear that from somebody, some of the team members here, what would you interpret? Well, they were told, and what their mindset is, what they have. You want to take a guess?
So I'm guessing they were told, hey, here at the 12,000, this is what you need to fund the policy with, and you have the option to fund it up to the 30,000, right? But what they may have failed to explain is that if you fund it at the minimum instead of the maximum, the max funding that it was really designed for, it's not going to have cash value the first couple of years. I had a client one day that came, he was wanting a new policy, and he got started talking about the existing policy he had at I think it was with us at Penn Mutual, and so that's a decent company for infinite banking. But he was only funding the minimum on that thing, and it had no cash value. So he was talking about quitting that one. I'm like, wait a minute, we designed that one. It was somebody else on the team, but within our organization. Hey, we designed that one for cash value. But if you're only funding it at the minimums, you're not going to have cash value to use. And so he had to go back and kind of start over and utilize the existing policy he had.
That's exactly the issue. And so I told this guy, I said, and I'm not bashing anybody, but I said, you were sold 12,000 as a premium when it should have been 30. The way that we would have said that this is a $30,000 premium policy, you have the option, if you need to reduce it down to 12, but you want to do 30 to make it infinite banking. He was told, oh, no, do 30 or do 12. You can do that. If you have a cash infusion, you can do the 30. He was sold essentially a high commission based policy, and that's what it was. And so fortunately we caught it in only 2 months, and now he understands what it really is. And he's very upset, to put it simply, because he can't put 30,000 in. It makes no sense. But he can do 12. And so now he's going to be structuring an IBC policy that starts at 12, but leaves the door open for more if he wants. But the 12,000 is going to have PUAs, cash value, base policy, and be a true infinite banking structure policy. So if you guys have questions about existing policies, just call up and ask. We see a lot of them.
All right, let's get the questions in there. I'm wondering if, because we had to stop and restart, if maybe we lost some people and they thought we weren't going to be on.
Yeah.
So,
So
They're getting their fantasy football teams ready. That's all.
Yeah.
could be.
Three here. So Felix saying, Chris and the team, thanks for the teaching. I do the concept in Spanish with Mauricio Cardenas' financial team. Very cool. I think you guys are out in California, right? I think I've talked to Mauricio before. Ethan, who's on our implementation team, actually an agent with Money Multipliers, and also in the Army National Guard. So I was in Army training this weekend. Financial guy was briefing us about the TSP, which TSP is basically a 401k for government employees. I was chiming in to be involved and help add to the discussion. He wasn't happy with me making comment about the benefit of having your money in a G fund and how those government bonds protect against loss in the stock market. You're absolutely right. Very grateful for financial education that I've got from Chris and the team. Very cool, Ethan. Thanks for sharing. Let's see. Mark started the process, putting my policies on the blockchain. Very cool.
Yeah.
James, I have that on my task list. Awesome. Mimi said, I have a policy and a segregated account with my CU. My question is this segregated account only for using with taking loans and paying back loans? Because when I describe how a segregated account should be used.
Yeah, I mean, Mimi's, I know her. So it's anything IBC related is typically how I've done them. So it's anything related to that. So policy payments, loans, loan paybacks, I just keep it all separate from personal stuff. It just makes it very nice, very simple. So that's how I do mine. And then if I'm doing something with the loan that captures additional interest, then I keep that in a separate as well, like a private lending entity. But yeah, that's how I do mine.
You can think of it as a kind of a catching pot, because you can't just go throw money directly into the policy, or let's imagine it that way. So it's the catching pot of where money goes before it goes into the policy, and when it comes out of the policy, it lands there first.
It's good for tracking too, because if you put it aside your personal account and you got all these things coming in and out, it just gets convoluted and sort of messy. That's why I like it.
Segregated just means separate. Easiest way to think about it, just separate from everything else.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions? Questions. Get them in there. What's up, Joe?
Hello, Brian.
What's that one? ACH, James. ACH is the way they do them.
You can do a check if you want to.
Yeah, that has happened before, unfortunately, for some people, and they don't realize it.
Yeah.
That's actually something that happened to one of our clients. That's why our team is so powerful. When you have the implementation team, one of my clients here about a month ago, they were excited. So they got into the policy, logged in and requested a loan without even talking to anybody first. And then a week later, they're saying, "Hey, Brian, where's the loan at?" I'm like, "Well, first off, you requested one. Did you talk to implementation person yet?" They're like, "No, I haven't yet." And I was like, "Well, you're probably going to be waiting about 3 weeks because it's going to come in the mail." And sure enough, that's what happened. They didn't check some certain boxes to make it digital. So, when you first get your policy set up, talk to your implementation person. Make sure you have that call first. It can save some heartache like that.
The paper check coming through the mail.
It's weird though, Craig. It took almost 4 weeks for them to get it from when they requested. It's like, couldn't believe it took that long. It's like, I can put something in the mail and it'll be there in 3 days, but for whatever reason, it's got to go through all their systems, I guess.
I know my first one took over 3 weeks in the mail too. But also for James D. Kirk, paying premium into the policy or policy loan repayments. Yeah, that's also set up on an ACH typically. Just on a payment form you'll fill out with the insurance company.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. Carolina said, "I have a house free and clear looking for a private mortgage at 65 LTV." Now, when you say private mortgage, is that a 30-year amortized mortgage, or is it a hard money 6-month, 12-month loan? So market value, okay, here it is. Market value, you need $250 for 2 to 3 years. That's a long-term hard money loan. So, anybody want to take that one?
I vote Joe.
I vote Joe or Brian. Sounds good.
I mean, it depends on if it's a personal property, if it's an investment property. That makes a big difference because a lot of private lenders, if you're looking for private lending, won't lend on personal properties or personal homes. They'll only lend on investment properties. That's one of the challenges. The other one is the term. 2 to 3 years for hard money is a long time. That's a long time. You can find maybe commercial banks that might do it with a balloon for that, but yeah, for a private loan, that's a long time for a property. Depends on if it's a multi-unit though as well. Depends on the details of the project.
Yeah, I mean that's a perfect use case. I mean, again, it's illegal to lend private to an individual, so that's not going to happen. So the property needs to be in a company name, an LLC, something of that nature. There's Dodd-Frank laws out there that prevent that kind of stuff. So as long as it's in an LLC or a company name, you can find a private lender, and that's exactly why Private Money Club was created, was to provide a platform for people like yourself looking for private money to connect with individuals like people on this call right now that have private money looking for deals. I mean, how many of you guys are doing private lending right now? I know you are, Craig, Jason, Carson, Joe. Yeah, I mean, so
All of us.
and we're all doing it through Private Money Club. So check out privatemoneyclub.com. And if you would like to learn more about it, just schedule a call. I'll put a link over in the chat box to schedule a call for that, and get it on there and start building relationships. And you'll definitely find, I mean, 65% loan to value. I mean, it just depends on what you're looking to pay, but as far as interest goes, but yeah, that could work out well for you.
Yeah, so she said it's an LLC rented, so it sounds like it's possibly cash flowing, which obviously is a benefit.
Perfect for Private Money Club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then one of the things you can do is also get that property, get it underwritten. So have a third party do underwriting and all that on it. So it makes it a bit easier for another investor to analyze it. So something I've done before.
I just did a refi. It was a DSCR loan, so debt service coverage ratio. It's based on as long as the rental income covers the debt service. I don't remember the exact lender, but if you talk to people who are doing lending, like or actively real estate investing in real estate, those are pretty popular. Debt service coverage ratio. Mine was 75% LTV, but you don't have to take that much. I think we just took the maximum.
Carolina O from my old stomping grounds, New Jersey, Garden State. There we go. What else we got?
Well, we got no questions. Like, a story with you guys.
Here's a takeaway
Any
from
other
the mountain.
questions?
You want to take away from the
Yeah.
mountain? You want to take away from the mountain?
Yeah.
So like the first one seemed pretty easy. Like, oh, this is easy. You know, it's only 3.9 miles, 3,900 feet and climbing. It's like, oh, this is easy. 2 hours. We'll do this. No problem. We got 36 hours. And then as you keep going, it gets harder. Like things start getting tight. Then it starts pouring rain. Then it's freezing. I mean, Steven's freezing everywhere. I mean, if it's 87 degrees in this pool and it's cold, I don't know. But so it's like 40 degrees, cold, walking up in the middle of the night, can't see, even with headlamps on, can't see more than 3 feet in front of you. The trail's changing all the time because now you got water running on the trail. You got mud everywhere. I mean, you got parts where there's no trail. You're climbing over boulders. Felt like Frodo and Sam from Lord of the Rings, right? But in the dark, the takeaway in the dark, it got tiring. It got a little bit frustrating. It was cold. It was slow. It was like life. Like if you don't know exactly where you're going, things are pretty lonely, pretty tiresome, and it's not a whole hell of a lot of fun, right? A couple hours later, got a little bit of sleep, changed clothes. Now it's 5 a.m. You can kind of see your feet again. You know where you're going. It's like having clarity in life. It's like once you understand that you shift one thing, it changes everything. For infinite banking, pulling it back into this conversation, and you really have a direction of what you're trying to do, things get so much easier. You're not just fumbling around the dark, hoping something's going to work. It's like having clarity in whatever you want. That was one of my big mountain takeaways this weekend. So
I love it.
And you guys should all do this with me. I mean, you don't have to learn how to bike, swim, and run. You just got to be able to walk. So get everybody up there on the mountain. That'd be a lot of fun.
Are you doing another one?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'll do it next year. I'm going to go back to Whistler. It really reminded me of New Jersey, like where I grew up in the Delaware Water Gap area. It's obviously a lot bigger than New Jersey. It was prettier in a lot of ways. It was snow-capped mountains you could see the day we could see, like the first couple hours before it just went foggy and rainy. It's really pretty up there.
So it looks like Rachel's got some statements / questions we might be able to address. So, Stephen, you want to pull that one up?
Yes. This one.
Yeah. So, looking to purchase a new home, 2 salaries, 3 car loans, no mortgage. So, what are some of the common things we do with infinite banking that we see in this sentence? Well, there's 3 car loans, and you could potentially use your own banking system to pay off those car loans and recapture that interest that was going to the dealership or the bank, which then helps lower your debt, which might make your mortgage that you're applying for look even better. So anybody else have something they want to say on this one? Yeah,
I mean, here's something that came up a couple times this week already, like with the car loans, right? Like taking back the banking function in your life by taking over the car loan and then recapturing that principal is really what we're looking to do. Like, yes, or not the interest. I mean, you're recapturing an interest, you do get the principal as well. But what people seem to be skipping over is the long-term thinking, the capitalization of the policy. So like say your car loan is 35 grand. Well, there's only 2 ways you can do it. You're either going to build it up over time, month by month by month, until you have enough capital to take out that cash value to take over that loan, or we're going to build it so you can do it sooner by putting more capitalization up front. But one way or the other, you're still coming up with the funds by putting it into your premium deposits.
Absolutely.
I've had a couple people confused, like, how does this work? I have $60,000 in debt. Like, I want to take a loan out right away. How come I can't take a loan out faster when I'm putting $1,000 in a month? Right? Like, that's been some of the mentality I've been getting this week.
One thing Rachel might not know or understand is that her new house can be purchased with a HELOC to do it with simple interest and not get stuck into a mortgage. So that's one thing that would save you a lot of money in the long run. Taking control of the HELOC.
And that's a really good point, because if you look at a brand new mortgage, let's say your payment is $1,000 a month. So Joe, how much of that 1,000 is principal?
Approximately 700, between six and 800 would be going to the interest.
So you might have, out of that 1,000, you might have $200, maybe less, going to principal, where what Joe's talking about is a first lien HELOC, where it's simple interest. So all of your payments going to principal, which buys down the interest charge over time. And as you build up equity, what's really cool about the first lien HELOC, you might want to look into that, Rachel, is that once you get equity, you can pull that out, put it back in, pull it out. You don't have to, go apply for a second. You don't have to do a cash out refi. It's the ultimate in flexibility. So I see another question where she asked, how do we get started? And Stephen, I don't know, can you put the booking link up? And so really, Rachel, what it involves is just getting a call booked and having a strategy call with someone on our team. And what I would suggest is you come prepared with kind of mapping out those cars. Out of the 3 car loans, what are the balances, the interest rates, the payments, and then request what's called a debt blaster, and we'll help put a plan together for you.
When she says no mortgage, I'm wondering if she has a house right now that she's selling and going to use the proceeds to purchase the new house. Because in that case, the first lien goes up to 90% LTV. You only have to put 10% down instead of 20%. And when you do that, then we can utilize the rest for a policy, take care of the auto loans, taking care of the house with the HELOC, creating a one-pot system, paying down the principal, and paying yourself first, taking control of all of your money and all of the situations in your life.
So it looks like she may be on the rental side right now, looking to purchase a house. So starting at, kind of no house right now. So yeah, Rachel, let's just get a call scheduled and we can have a conversation with one of our mentors and kind of work through it.
Hey, Joe. So Rachel is saying their realtor saying no, and I'm guessing she's saying that the realtor is saying you can't buy a house with a HELOC. What do you know about that?
Wrong.
Tell me more.
It's not what you know, it's what you think you know that just isn't so.
Thank you, Will Rogers.
So
in the meantime, Rachel, what Joe's talking about is just maybe Google all-in-one loan first lien HELOC and do a little bit of reading about that. The thing is, most people that are in real estate, whether they're mortgage brokers or real estate agents, they don't even know about this product called an all-in-one.
A lot of people are not aware of the products that are out there and available to them. So if it can't happen, I wonder how come maybe 50 to 100 people that I know have done it.
Interesting. All right, what else we got?
We're in Fuego. We are in Fuego. IUL policy.
It says, I have an IUL policy my father started for me when I was a child. Will I be able to convert that to a specially designed whole life policy?
Potentially.
Maybe.
Yeah, you definitely probably could. I'd be curious to actually look at what that IUL looks like. See an in-force illustration compared to when it originally started and see what it performed as. I'd be curious.
So that's another good one, just to book a call and we'll take a look at your IUL. We'll see what the surrender value is. We'll see what cash value is in there. And if it makes sense, then you can do what's called a 1035, which is an exchange over to a specially designed whole life policy.
Get an in-force illustration. Do we not say that already? Just making sure. Go ask where it's from for an in-force illustration so we can see, what it looks like, where it's at, all those things. So.
Yep. And James is busting me on. I was getting a little lazy. So if we want to say the entire thing we typically say, and I added a little piece to it on the 3-day, but when we talk about the policies we create, what do we say? They are
specially designed and engineered whole life for infinite banking.
Well, don't forget about the dividend paying. So specially designed, engineered, dividend paying whole life policies with a mutual company, and then I added on built by experts.
I like it. I say I throw cash rich in there too. Especially engineered, cash rich, whole life from a dividend paying, mutually owned whole life company, designed, like Craig said, by experts. It's a mouthful, but it's all true.
And supported by a professional team of implementation specialists.
Wow.
But who are the
There you
experts?
go.
Where would some go? Where would somebody go for this?
I don't know, man. Oh, I do.
Maybe the link can be thrown up.
Yeah, Stephen, you have a booking link in there? I can't post to the comments.
Yeah, let's see.
You can do it.
Yeah.
All right, Justin said, Joe, the HELOC I got is normal and not like the 2 loans we were talking about the other day, so we're good to go. Just made an appointment with you today for next week.
Awesome. Good homework.
Thank you, Rachel. Smart Money Culture, good name.
That's neat.
Nice logo too. It's always going up. Look at that.
Yeah.
Joe?
Yes, she could get pre-approved for the HELOC, for the all-in-one or first lien HELOC. It's the same thing as a mortgage, except at closing, you're not going to go to a conventional mortgage. You're going to go to a HELOC. Absolutely.
Cool.
Joseph@chrisnoggle.com is my email, or joseph.beyourownbanker.com.
I always forget your name is Joseph because I know you as Joe K from New York. So every time I try to email you, I can never figure it out. I'm like, Joe, no, it's not working. Where the heck is it? Throwing that out there for some fun.
Fun in the sun.
I remember that call.
Me too. I can tell you exactly where I was. I was at the end of Ingram Road at a stop sign making a right when you picked up.
Hey, it
So
looks like
everybody
Daniel,
on here. Also, go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say Daniel's got a comment there if you want to post that up, Stephen.
There we go.
And I think, so Daniel, I think you're just making a statement there. Absolutely correct. You can buy a house with a first lien position HELOC. And awesome on having 4 policies.
And HELOCs. Nice work.
Good job, man.
You're
You
playing
got the power tools.
Yeah. Taking control of what you can.
Cool. Smart Money. Shoot me an email and we'll see what we can arrange. It's snagy@chrisnoggle.com. It's cool.
I like it. Let's do it.
Let's get on Smart TV.
Eve said, can our mapping specialist compare staying in our 2.89?
Is he the only one that froze?
Yeah, I think so. I was kind of moving around to make sure I was still there, but yeah, we're good.
was wondering if that's what the head bob was for.
All right. Well, in lieu of Steven freezing,
He's
Eve,
taking a nap right now. It's a very unique position to take a nap in.
all you have to do is call me, Eve. I can run through your numbers and get you pre-qualified.
And Joe, speaking of finalizing, I'm right there, bro.
Are you?
Right there. Oh yeah.
Right at the final, at the finish line?
We sent in the last IRS document. You know, we've jumped through all said hoops.
Good job.
Which is something. Do you guys have to jump through hoops for policy loans?
Just flog them here.
No trick question. Just softballs.
Just flog them here.
Grab the big red bat and you hit it.
Jason,
right.
so how are you gonna move your money around with a all-in-one HELOC and trying to run things through policies as well? I'm curious on how you're gonna do that.
Well, right now, I think because of the interest rate on the policy, I mean, you know, on the HELOC being variable, I'm looking just to move it into something where I'll make a spread on it. And then some of that money will come back and either go back into the HELOC or back into a policy. But I won't be running it through at this time. I won't be running it through a policy.
Okay, so you won't be doing true velocity banking though, with like your income literally going straight to the HELOC.
Oh, I am. Yeah, that's how I'm going to do.
Okay,
all my income's going to go into the HELOC.
And then you'll just pay policy premiums from your HELOC every year.
Correct.
Easy, makes sense.
Correct.
And then take the cash value out, throw it back in the HELOC, and lend it out.
Yes.
And are you planning to pay your expenses out of that as well? So is that your one pot system like we teach?
Yes, it's going to be the one pot system. I've got my calculator here. I'm about to start the journey. So it's going to be a new journey. So we're going to have some learnings going on. And people, when you hear us talk about this stuff, there's one thing I really want you to understand. Like, if you don't understand it, it's just you don't understand it yet. I talked about this for the whole Take Back Control Tuesday. Like, this is new to me. Like, there's a little bit of nerves. Like, I'm like, okay. I've heard Joe talking about it. He's clicking and popping and making wheels with his arms. You know, he's walked me through this. I've been going through this application process for like 5 months, right? I have the calculator right here. So I've been putting in like what the income is this month, what it was last month, adjusting it, seeing how long it'll be till I can take out the, you know, have access to the next 50,000 or next 80,000 or whatever the number is, freeing it up to make my money go make money like we're teaching you guys to do. Right, really implementing the process, but there's still things I don't know. Like, I have not used an all-in-one pot system yet, so I'm about to learn, Carson. So I'll keep you posted on what my takeaways are.
And what will I do? I'll hold your hand.
Is that what we're doing? Hold on.
There you go.
That's very nice. That's going to be a highlight right there. We should make that into a reel. So.
Yeah, for those of you wanting to know,
America hat, by the way, I know we were talking about in the meeting, but look at that thing.
That's there like you go, right?
Straight from the 70s, man. It's nice.
Represent his hot dog stand, but the one pot system, for those that are kind of tuning in, is like, what is this one pot system? Think of it this way: you have your home mortgage with a sweep checking account on it. All your income goes into that checking account, gets swept down to your mortgage to reduce that mortgage, and then you pay bills out of it. So what happens in most cases is you might get paid on the 1st and the 15th. Your money goes, your paychecks go into the first, you know, the one pot system. Just buying down that interest. And then at the end of the month, you pay your bills. So you had that benefit of paying down that interest with that higher income, and then out comes your bills. And then what a lot of us do, will take it from a perspective of, let's say you got 100,000 of equity, and you have something you know, like, and understand to make more money with, then you take that money and you make more money with it, and it can come back and pay itself down. And now you freed that capital, you freed that asset out there.
But if you're going to take the money out of your HELOC, you might as well run it through the policy before you put it into the investment, so now you can make money twice.
Yeah.
So I've almost go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's lots of paths. So you can go like what Jason was talking, direct, and I'm doing a lot of that right now too, just going direct out of my HELOC, and then my HELOC pays my premiums and my policies when they're due, which I have one coming up next month, or actually in October. Or you run it through a policy, and then the policy to the investment, and then the investment pays the HELOC back. So there's different circles.
It's infinite, I tell you. It's infinite.
But Carson, what were you going to say?
I was going to say I've heard some solid rebuttals against first lien HELOCs lately, and I want to hear what your thoughts would be towards it.
They must.
I was I was talking to someone, and they were thinking, well, so if it's a 30-year amortized loan you have, you're locking in a payment for 30 years. Say it's whatever, $4,000 a month. That $4,000 a month today might be a decent chunk of your income, but in 30 years, that's going to be nothing for inflation. So you're locking in a small payment for 30 years, which is, yes, you're paying more interest, but that money is going to be worth way less in the future. Might as well keep that low payment and that low, I guess, debt for as long as possible. It's not going to be. I mean, instead of using all your dollars sitting in the HELOC and letting it sit there, and yes, you can use it, but you're paying interest on it. Whereas you could not pay interest on it by just lending it out and keeping a 30-year loan, whereas it's not going to be worth as much later on.
Who pays interest on a HELOC that the money sits in it? You don't pay money on an interest if you don't use it. Second of all, with a mortgage and the way you're talking with the 4%, you have all that money stuck in your 2x4s. You can't touch it.
Yep.
So I know, and I bet I know who you were speaking with. You're speaking with someone who wrote a book that has Joe's favorite word in it, right? It was A-N-D, because I had the same conversation with the individual about this, and he's a chapter in his book, and I really appreciate that kind of feedback. Again, there's not a right or wrong answer, just as long as you have a philosophy and you're going to practice it and you're going to take action and you're going to make it work. It'll work. Like I see his point, but then you talk to Joe about it, you talk to Craig, who have both done it. I feel pretty confident, and I run the calculations, Carson. Like if for some reason it ballooned up to 13%, right? Say this balloons up to 13%. If I just put my income into it, keep the bills where they're at, like keep Parkinson's law in control, it extends it by like another 7 months mathematically. It's not that big of a difference, which really it eased some of my fears. And we're not financial advisors. We're not saying, hey, everyone should go get the one pot system and a first lien HELOC. We're just literally talking about what we're doing, and that's what we do every week. We answer questions. We talk about how we're navigating our wealth building strategies and creating legacy.
And here, at the end of the day, here's the thing to keep your focus on, because a lot of people shine the light over on, look at the interest rates. Look at the interest rates. If you start looking at the volumes of interest of what you're doing, so look at the volume of interest that you're going to pay on your traditional mortgage. Look at the volume of interest that you're going to pay in a first lien HELOC. There's quite a difference there. So start in everything you do financially, start thinking about the volumes of interest, not the rates of interest.
Just because of how you were saying it before with your paycheck, when I talk to people, I talk to them, think of the calendar. 7/14/21/28. Let's say you get paid every week. $1,000 comes in on the 7th. $1,000 comes in on the 14th. $1,000 comes in on the 21st. You now have $3,000 in the HELOC. You technically paid $3,000 on the principal of your mortgage. Now, on the week of the 21st, on the 22nd, you pay your gas bill, your electric bill, your credit cards, the HELOC. That's like taking one step backwards. But what happens 2 days later on the 28th? Boom, another paycheck. So you took 3 steps forward, almost a step back, but then another payment. When did you ever pay $3,000 to the principal of your mortgage in 1 month and still had access to all that money? Mic drop. Boop.
All right.
I think it's the access point, and I get what think about it too. A lot of the stuff we do, we have Mr. Spreadsheet that is creating all these spreadsheets, right? But a lot of it is common sense. Like when we talk about how you finance a car, and here's one that was a game changer for me this past week. I'm going to change the subject a little bit, but we talk about it all the time. There was I just forgot his name. It is Kiyosaki's tax guy, right? And I have his
Tom Wheelwright.
Yes, Tom Wheelwright was on one of the masterminds I'm in. He came in as a speaker, and he was talking about how business owners leasing a car is actually, like, from a money perspective, one of the best things business owners can do, which is not something I ever say, because conceptually, someone's making money when you lease a car and you're basically renting it, right? You're not ever owning the thing and you're paying for it the whole time. But then from a tax perspective, he was just bringing in another way to look at it. So just for us to always like not get locked into how we think about things, I think it's super important, right? So it's really to understand and meet everybody where they're at, what they understand, because there's going to be different ways, because there's the tax implications too, right? And that's what he was bringing it to. Where I would always say that's the most inefficient way to go about purchasing a car, right? So.
All right. So we lost our moderator. So what do we have?
We are though. This is it. We got 7 minutes. We got no more questions. Do you have to have an IBS? I'm guessing means IBC to lend money to private money club or borrow money. That's from Knights of Israel.
No, you do not. But we do. A lot of us do, because we are using the cash value built up in that IBC infinite banking concept policy to then lend out. So we're simply using it as a banking system. So while that money is compounding and growing, we're taking it out of the policy and putting it into, say, a private money club at 12% or whatever it's going to be, which makes money, and we run those gains either back into the policy or reinvest them in the deal.
Money not in motion does not make money. That is why I have all of my cash value in my policies out making money. That's why I have all of my HELOC out making money.
It's awesome. You need to get that and some lights behind you. Money in motion, right? Stays in motion, makes money, or however you want to put it.
I love that one.
Hefe means boss said, I have my intro call this Friday. Can you guys give me some guidance on what to know or look into to be prepared for the 30th call?
Yeah, Carson, what would you want someone to know that's coming to a call with you?
You know, Jason actually made a short, like a minute-long video. I still give that out to people every time. I got you.
Video.
It is, and we'll send it to you too. Basically, I'd want you to understand what infinite banking is, at least a decent understanding, the basics, understanding why we use whole life insurance, what the policy means, maybe some examples you must have seen about, you know, how you can use a policy for financing debt or investing in real estate. And then I'd want you to come prepared with maybe a few questions of how you could implement this, or any questions you got from the videos or books you may have read. And if you are someone looking to pay off debt or have a very specific situation, I'd come prepared with numbers. What's your income? What are your expenses? What are your debt payments, your interest rates, your balances? If you're looking to do investments, what's the deal you're going to do, and what are the returns going to look like? How much capital do you have available? So just like an overarching idea of what the concept is and your numbers is all you really need. And then whoever you're working with will give you, the perfect white glove service to help you do it right.
I love how excited you got with that, Carson. That's exactly it. And the 79-second video that Carson's talking about is just asking you 4 questions. It's basically asking you, what is your goal for this? Like, really think about what is your big future outcome? And then where are you today? Like, are we solving the problem of debt, recapturing and recycling your money? Do you have money that's sitting, unprotected in banks? Even if it's in a high yield savings or a money market, do you have money that's in a bank versus in a policy where it can be parked and protect your legacy and create a legacy? Or are you going to purchase a major capital purchase, a car, a home, a vacation home, a wedding, right? Or are you setting up your kids, grandkids? These are the 5 things we talk about the most. Or are we at the point where we're going out and putting our little green men to work, as Brent likes to say, or Terry likes to say, and making money with our money, making a spread like the banks do, right? So we want you to watch the 90-minute video. We want you to think about, like Carson said, where are you financially? How much are you paying yourself? How much are you saving? Do you have assets that are sitting someplace where you can access it, whether it's in savings, a money market, sometimes a HELOC. Right now, I don't know if a HELOC going through a policy makes a lot of sense just because of the rates, but just kind of know where you are. If you really know where you're at financially, that's going to help us really help you take the next step forward.
And I would also add to some of what Jason's talking about. If there's any business owners out there, we also can help you structure business-based policies where you can use the cash value within your business for equipment financing, for purchasing trucks, whatever you need for your business. So whether it's personal or business, just, kind of have some idea of what you're trying to accomplish, and we can put a plan together for you.
Craig is our resident expert in COLI. We are all learning as we go with Craig on that journey. So there's a lot of different dynamic things you can do to keep that money moving inside your business. So great point, Craig. Brent, a little shout out to Brent Burdick and Daniel Wolfell. Both looks like they're fans of HELOC One Pot systems and have some knowledge there. And we got Knights of Israel, wants to know if he can hear some personal experiences starting out in IBC. So what do you guys got? Rapid fire, round the horn.
Mine's too long.
As fast as you can do it. Give me 1 minute.
Joe, just the Reader's Digest version. You're going to buy a car, you threw the money away. If you would have put it into policy, what's life look like?
Not one, not two, but 3 Cadillacs.
So I was with Chris.
Here,
I was hanging around Chris in the office and going to the pop-ups. 16 months, couldn't figure out a policy yet. My wife wanted a vehicle. I ended up buying 3 Cadillacs. I was at the dealership. I had the cashier's check because I was paying cash. Was holding it. He grabbed it. I was shaking. I understood. Had the aha moment. If I would have taken that 150, I could have run it through the policy, borrowed it out, paid for the cars, and still made money on my money. That was my aha moment. Cost me only $150,000.
Well, for me, I started 15 plus years ago, and back then we didn't have the YouTube channels and all the streaming, and so how I found it was a seminar on college planning, and this guy was teaching me how I could pay for college and major purchases using my own banking system. Like, what in the world is this? But anyway, that's what I started doing 15 years ago, and I made the decision because I've been through the 2007, it was around that 2007 2008 housing bubble issue, and 401ks. I'm just like, there's got to be something better than this 401k system. Mm-hmm. I personally made the decision. I'm not giving any advice, but I made the personal decision. I'm not going to put another penny into that system. I'm going to do something else. And over time, it evolved from using the policy for major purchases to doing investing with it. So private lending and buying notes and whatever else it might be. So that's kind of where it's evolved.
And for every dollar that Craig puts in, how much do you get to take out now?
On my oldest policy, which has been sitting around for quite a while, and due to all the compounding of all this previous years, when I put $1 in, I'm getting over $6 back just due to the compounding.
Wow. Yay!
How many of those do you want?
As many as I can get.
Yeah, I'll buy them off you.
Not for sale. Well, everything I have is for sale, but yeah, just kidding.
I know we're doing rapid fire, so I'll be quick with it. I was young when I got my first policy, but my family had policies on me since I was a kid, which is really cool. I'm a second generation infinite banker. And so I knew of the concept growing up, got my first policy when I started working at 19 years old. Like, I had a real job and I was doing $250 a month. I just want to start something small, learn the process. And as I did it, I understood it more and more and got multiple policies since then. And now I'm using them for real estate investing and private lending.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I'll give my real quick recap. So my first one, I recaptured $2,200 a month, right? I saved up for a while. You really capitalized the policy, recaptured 9 of my 10 bad debts. Now it's $3,300 a month I'm recapturing. We use it to pay for our ski vacation. We use Connor's policy to pay for that. And next it's going out and putting our money to work. So really going through the build, keep, and create more wealth as we teach. In a relatively short period of time. Like, I came in really focused, and there's no way that I'd be here without the team and what we're doing. So,
and Jason, I love how you mapped out that journey, because a lot of folks come to us and have debts and not a lot of extra income. And so we can put a plan together to wipe out the debt. And then once the debt's wiped out and you're using it for major purchases, just like what Jason talked about, then you get into using that cash value for investing in things like and understand. But yeah, you're like the poster child. You went through all the steps.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal, right? It's come in and really understand to learn this. it's not only for me, it's an emotional thing too. Like it is the mindset portion of it. I really was scared of money. Like money made me uncomfortable. I had a lot of unhealthy money stories that I believe a lot of people listening probably have. That's probably why you're here. There's probably something that you're uncomfortable with your money. And when you start understanding that you can actually have control of your money, that you actually can understand how it works, and it's pretty simple, like actually very simple, then it starts emotionally shifting that. And you can buy a legacy. Like I went from someone wondering how I'd ever leave a legacy for my boys, for my two sons, to now knowing that if something happened to me, I graduated, died, shuffled off, like they're okay. They're going to be okay. Like I plan on being around for a long time, right, to climb up some more mountains. But that's the point too. Like we don't talk enough about what it feels like as a man that's providing, protecting your family, that all of a sudden that you're like, hey, they're taken care of. I'm good, right? I know that's big for you, Craig, and your daughters, Joe, right, with your daughter, Carson, your marriage, right, and future kids, the 19 kids you guys are going to have together. So, hey, don't laugh. I've talked to people in the last week. I don't know what it was in the air, but 10 kids, 12 kids, and 13 kids. So, wow. And we got speaking, last one we'll wrap up here. We have Amir Abdul Wali saying, hey, he wants to start IBC, don't have a lot of cash. You know, he's married, 34, and wife and 4 kids. So what would you say to that?
I mean, I think at that point, it's really getting a call scheduled to have that strategy call just to see, are there ways we can move the pieces on the game board around a little bit? And you may find out that, well, if you shuffle this over here and you did this differently, you'd have enough to run through the policy and knock down some debts. But there's a lot of pieces there. We would need to just understand what your specific situation is. And that's kind of what the strategy call is all about.
I usually tell everybody has the pieces. Now let's take the game board, flip it over, and let's play a different game.
I like that. I actually really like that, Joe. I would tell, say, weigh in first, like we talked about early. Like really understand, like, are you if you have credit card debt, are you paying the minimum or are you paying more? Like, where is there some financial leakage? That's what Craig was talking about. Yep. Like, are there places where we can redirect that money in a way that's going to protect you first, and then you're pulling out policy loans? Or it could be, hey, I need to go out and make a little bit more money. Like the first job we all have to be in is having capital. Once we have capital, then we want to be in the job of banking. So again, you can book a call. We can see if there is financial leakage, but be your own banker and read that book. That's good.
Well, the reason I bring this up is part of the challenge when people say, hey, you know, I'm just going to run in tight paycheck to paycheck. I don't really have a way to get out of this cycle. And Jason, you talk about interrupts all the time. We need to interrupt that pattern and realize that maybe something's got to change. Maybe you're spending more on luxuries than you need. I don't know your specific situation. I'm just talking generally. So sometimes we have some tough conversations with, if you're in a certain pattern in a certain spending cycle and you can't get out of that, something needs to change. And so that might be part of the discussion.
All right. Well, we hit another. So he's read the book. Awesome.
Awesome. Good job.
Yeah, good job. Keep learning. You know, it's Zig Ziglar said it best. Go out, solve more people's problems. As you do that, you'll get more in return than you could ever imagine. Right? That's the variation of that. So, yep. Hey, we're the three of us are together. You know, where'd Carson go? But hey, another great AMA. We do not have an exit video, so we appreciate all of you. Keep learning. You are your most valuable asset. You are in the 5% because you are here learning. Apply what we're teaching, and your life will change. You got to apply it though. If you're just listening because you think we're cool, thank you, but go do something with it. All right.
And hey, before we punch the go away, Roxanne's asking for the 90-minute video link. Does anyone have that? They can post it in the chat. For some reason, I can't post in chat, but
only the owner can, which none of us are.
So Roxanne, one place you could go get that is if you go to Chris Noggle's YouTube channel. It's his front video. It's the 90-minute video he's got on his YouTube channel. So that's one place you could go get it.
All
right.
All right, guys. Good
Great
show.
job, guys. Have a good one.
Okay. And Joe, you want to call me? Joe, you want to call me?
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you soon.